Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
This is Trash Doctor, that podcast where we put our spacesuit on backwards, because this week we watched The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Written by Stephen Moffat.
Directed by Farron Blackburn.
And aired on December 25th, 2011. I
don't know why you have to check what date it was aired on, since it should be pretty obvious.
Yeah, but surprisingly, this wasn't very obviously written by Stephen Moffat. In fact, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't read it.
You should have known just by the fact that it rips off a well-known
title of a story and not really the content of the story.
I mean, to some extent. It copies some of it.
Just like the going into this winter, almost said Wonderland there. That was a close one.
Probably from all that Christmas music you've been listening to.
Yeah. I'll just say this again because it's funny. I've spent more hours in the past week listening to Christmas music than I have sleeping.
Yeah, just leave it at that because it's funnier without context. Yeah. Here comes Santa Claus. You've probably listened to Christmas music that I didn't even know existed. I was listening to the radio on the way here, and they played this Christmas song by Jet that I had never heard of before. And then the guy's like, that was Jet's cover of this Christmas song. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, there were a few I didn't know the existence of until like this week, like Driving Home for Christmas, which is now one of the most annoying Christmas songs of all time. The most annoying is for sure Last Christmas.
Well, that's the best one.
Wow. No,
that's actually not true. The one by Wham is the best one, but I'm forgetting which one.
The Grinch is the best one.
Nah. Where's my Christmas song alignment chart? Neutral evil and chaotic evil. Last Christmas is chaotic evil, I think.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh.
But luckily this
is Christmas is chaotic good, but anyway.
No, there's this one Christmas song that I heard for the first time this week, and it sounds like it's from a musical, and it's a male singer and a female singer, and they kind of go back and forth talking about how they ruined each other's Christmases. I don't know what it's called.
Wow. Wow.
But
Maybe
luckily,
it's cold outside?
No. It's something else. It sounds like it's from a musical. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, now you gotta look it up and put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Force myself to look up Christmas music.
After Christmas, because this is gonna go out 5 days after Christmas.
Yeah. But luckily there's no Christmas music in this episode. In fact, this is one of the least Christmassy Christmas specials.
I don't know, that ending. I mean, the ending.
All right, the ending, but like, I really like this episode because of the
funny,
ecological...
because Stephen Moffat was like, I want to write the most Christmassy of Christmas episodes ever. And that was how he conceived this episode.
Huh.
So...
Yeah, and I just realized I forgot to look up production stuff, but that's really interesting because the end of this is very like, Christmas with the dad coming back and everything, but really the rest of it is almost like anti-Christmas, right? Like I don't know, it's an ecological story for sure with the forest and the souls and everything. But yeah, I feel like because of that, it's sort of anti like everything that Christmas stands for, like corporate greed, materialism, and all that stuff.
I mean, Christmas is supposed to be a time you spend with your family and loved ones, and...
Well, I guess supposed to, but like if you really go back to the history of Christmas, like in America at least, it was like instituted as this holiday for like people to buy stuff.
All right, well that's just America, whose culture is capitalism, so...
But like, I mean, the Christmas and Thanksgiving you can trace back to like specific efforts to be like, all right, we need holidays that get people to do these specific things.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that's in America. You trace the history of Christmas back in like Europe. It goes way further back than that, and it's way less
sketch,
corporate.
Yeah, it is
capitalist propaganda.
Yeah,
it's actually supposed to be a time you spend with your family, and you get together in your Christmas feast, and you have a good time together.
Well, I mean, also historically, I believe, pretty sure about this. It's Christmas. The sort of, I guess, this sounds paradoxical, but it's not, I guess, pre-Christian Christmas because, people had always celebrated winter solstice holidays because It's the longest night of the year and people got scared of shit. So that sort of got infused with, I guess, like Judeo-Christian stuff as time went on. Like the tree is totally like not. The tree is like pagan and stuff like bringing the tree into the house and all that. But yeah, it's really complicated, and I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, neither do I. But anyway, Moffat was like, I want to write the most Christmassy Christmas special ever. And it's I'm going to borrow from this totally legit source, the C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I guess it makes sense. The whole Chronicles of Narnia series is basically Christian propaganda for kids. So...
Yeah,
and if you didn't realize that when you were a kid reading it, go back and read it now.
Yeah, it's really obvious. C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien, basically, as far as I know, I mean, this is what's gone down in like the historical record, but they basically sat down, they're like, all right, how are we going to get people interested in Christianity? And J.R.R. Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings, which is...
way more subtle about it.
Yeah, way more subtle about it. And C.S. Lewis wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. The Jesus lion.
Yeah, the lion is literally Jesus.
Also, what's the lion's name?
Aslan.
Yeah, it's I heard that just literally just means like lion in like Turkish or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Greatest fantasy writer of the 20th century. Kidding. I don't think anyone's really placed him as in that place. It's either been Tolkien or there's a couple others, but
some people put Tolkien. George R.R. Martin up there.
But he's still writing.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still be the greatest and still be writing at the same time. Nothing precludes you from being on the greatest list if you're still writing.
Yeah, but he's like 20th, 21st century.
I guess.
So, whatever.
Wasn't J.R.R. Tolkien 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's the same time period.
Ish.
Sort of.
In the grand scheme of things, like if you're looking at the geological scale of time, like, yeah, sure.
I mean, on the geological scale of time, why even do a podcast? Just release one episode every
million years. The podcast, 4.6 billion years in the making.
Damn, why didn't we use that in our Jurassic Park episode? Wait, we did, didn't we? Wasn't that the intro? Didn't we use that as the... Well, whatever we used as the intro was worse.
3 years ago. 3 years is like 4.6 billion years on the human scale of time. But anyway, this episode begins with death and destruction. I mean, if you don't have anything else to say about the production.
Not really.
Because I forgot to look stuff up.
I think it was this director's first time directing for Doctor Who.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the
And they were like, my favorite scenes to film were the ones in the forest because it really felt like we were making a movie. And I was like,
I mean, the production values are always higher on the Christmas specials.
Yeah.
Like that opening scene that was totally not necessary, but there for the heck of it.
There's a prequel to this episode that's just the Doctor blowing up that spaceship, which is how we can confirm that it was the Doctor who killed whoever was on that spaceship.
Great. This is coming right after. I mean, this just like sets precedent for this whole story, but this is coming right after he promised to be more low-key and under the radar.
Yeah, well.
The story is essentially him not doing that and at the end justifying not doing that. Actually,
Poorly.
Madge justifies it. Frickin' Madge.
Yeah. I mean, much like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I didn't really find any characters really likable in this, except for one, which is the girl.
I mean, I don't think you have to find characters likable. I think you just have to find them interesting to be interested in the story, which I did. I found them quite interesting. I mean, this is we get the origin story of Cyril Shaps encoded into Doctor Who.
It's not what it is at all.
I mean, people don't know this, but Shaps is actually a pseudonym. His real name is Cyril Arwell or whatever it was.
Yeah, you be careful. People will actually believe that.
No, it's not true at all.
We have some sort of pseudo-era authority because we have a podcast, even though we're like not any more knowledgeable than any other fan.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like people think if you have a couple mics and a recording
And a
setup,
laptop,
and a laptop, you have some sort of authority, but you don't.
I mean, we could just like stretch the truth and be like, well, we have an office, which lends more air of authority to us, even though, again, it's really stretching the truth, but it's not a lie. And that's the real key point,
Real moral
the real
of all
takeaway.
this.
Anyway, the Doctor jumps out of this blowing up spaceship.
And lands in the TARDIS.
No, he lands... He lands freaking just in a field in London, I guess. He puts on this
I guess he falls.
spacesuit.
Huh.
Yeah, he falls all the way from space and smashes into a ground in London. And he indicates that the spacesuit, preempting all those complaints by people about the Doctor dying in that fall, he's like, well, the spacesuit's an impact suit. It's keeping me alive. And I'm like, right, Stephen. I mean, literally wouldn't have cared if you hadn't said anything about it, but I'm sure there are fans out there who would have, so...
Meanwhile, a family is grieving.
Well, not yet, because there's a 3-year time skip.
Yeah, we get a scene with them like
when the
doing
Doctor
their
lands.
thing.
Yeah, the dad's still there and he's reading the newspaper, and Madge is like, "Wow, reading the newspaper about the war. If you read about it that much, it might actually happen." I'm like, "That what? Who would actually believe that?"
Well, no, I mean they don't go anywhere with this idea, but this is sort of I don't know. I wouldn't call it metafictional, but it's an interesting literary concept. Mm-hmm. And it's also about propaganda as well, in a way. Mm. But they don't go anywhere with it. And the dad, I recognize the dad. The dad is played by Alex Armstrong, I think his name is.
Don't worry, I'll find out for you.
I don't know where I've seen this guy before, but
Alexander Armstrong.
I think he's a fairly well-known.
He was in
British.
Sarah Jane Adventures, and he was in Stolen Earth: Journey's End. Although I don't know what as. Let's check his IMDb page.
I think he's a fairly prolific British actor.
Yeah, he was in Danger Mouse.
Huh.
And Peppa Pig.
Oh, so he's more of a voice actor, it seems.
Seems like it. How to Behave, Doctor Who as Mr. Smith, voice. Sarah Jane Adventures is Mr. Smith as well. So I guess, yeah, Mr. Smith was the computer.
Yeah.
He was in the Armstrong and Miller show, apparently. I guess that's his own show. He played David Cameron in The Trial of Tony Blair. He was in Marple.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah,
that TV show based on the Agatha Christie Miss Marple books, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I've seen him in. I've seen him in something. Specifically seen it wasn't one of his voice roles, I guess. Cinderella, the movie 2000 or whatever.
I mean,
but
that might have been it's a TV movie, so it might not have been animated.
It probably was. It's probably one of those cheap cash-in, like B-list Disney movies where they got their like B studio to animate it. That's what they do. Turn in those like 40-minute animated DVD, straight to DVD movies and stuff.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to watch. We've watched some of them.
Yeah.
Aladdin. We'll have to do it again for Cinderella.
It's true. Animation takes a major hit.
We should have saved that Aladdin trilogy for the live-action Aladdin next year, but oh well.
We didn't know about it.
Too late now. That live-action Aladdin, by the way, they released a picture of the cast, and it looks pretty bad. Will Smith is the genie, and he looks pretty bad. But he had to come out and make a statement. He's like, don't worry, guys, I'll be blue in pretty much all the movie. This isn't a representative picture.
Wow.
This isn't a representative picture. They just haven't done the CG on this picture
this
yet.
Promotional picture isn't representative of what we want to put out.
Well, so the thing is, like, this is a super tangent.
Whatever,
I'm just going to briefly mention it before we go on. Entertainment Weekly puts out all these pictures of, like, first look at this movie, right? Well, so the thing is, Entertainment Weekly is actually super deceptive because those pictures that they put out are actually not from the movie. They're pictures taken by Entertainment Weekly on the set of the movie while they were filming. So typically it's actually not representative of a final product at all because, like I said, it's just a picture they took on the set and not a picture released by Disney or Sony or Fox or the movie studio making the movie. So obviously the lighting is all wrong, the color grading's all wrong,
well, that's
the framing is all wrong.
I mean, they call it a first look.
So yeah, but anyway,
it's probably pretty obvious as to what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, some people still conflate it. That's why Will Smith had to come out and be like, guys, this isn't what I'm going to look like in the movie. It's like I haven't done any post-prod on this image, so...
Well, regardless, I hope it bombs.
Wow. Brutal. Savage. Wrecked. How does that gif go? Something like that.
You know, but, yeah, the kid, the son, Cyril, not Cyril Shaps, but Cyril.
Most annoying freaking kid in Doctor Who history.
No, he's not. He's not. He's real into
made up words like astronomy and archaeology.
Yeah. And I forget why the mom goes out, but she does. She
goes out to help the Doctor find the TARDIS. The Doctor's got his helmet on backwards and he can't see where he's going. And so Madge is like, I'll help you find the TARDIS. Or
he like lands box. in their backyard or whatever.
And she borrows the neighbor's car, I guess, and drives it into a pole, which is the first reason I'm like, wow, Madge, you fucking jerk. She's like, well, there are a lot of poles in the way, and I'm like, I mean, it's supposed to be a funny moment, but then you remember that this isn't even like her family's car, it's like the neighbor's car. Like, if it was her car, like, I wouldn't care, because, like, obviously, you know, they're the ones paying for this, and they're the ones who have to deal with this. But again, she borrowed the neighbor's car.
Merry Christmas.
So, like, Merry Christmas, I freaking dented the front of your car. Like, wow, Madge.
Yeah, maybe Madge deserves what's coming to her. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I wouldn't go that far.
No. But they find the TARDIS. The Doctor leaves. And surprisingly, this has nothing to do with the rest of the episode. No, I'm kidding. He comes back here.
Yeah, well, he tells her that he owes her one, and if she ever needs him to make a wish. And then we skip ahead 3 years.
To the war.
We see the dad, and he's flying. He's like, there's no stars, it's clouds. And the guy's like, hey, our gunner is in a bad... I don't remember the gunner's name. He's like, he's in a bad way. Biggs is in a bad way. What are we going to do? It's Wedge Antilles. Wedge is in a bad way. What are we going to do? And he's like, well, tell him we're going home for Christmas. And then he looks at a picture of Madge. He's like, I'm sorry, my love, I failed you. Cut to Madge receiving a telegram about her husband being lost over the English Channel. Cut to them going to this really massive manor in the countryside, which is apparently like their uncle's place, although... the uncle is nowhere to be seen in the story.
The uncle's MIA.
And you kind of wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, maybe he was involved in some, I don't know, sketchy business, money laundering type stuff. You gotta wonder how he got the mansion. / castle / like priory or whatever it is.
Maybe
and then
he
just
was
like
rich.
ditched. Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Maybe he earned an honest living.
Maybe. But since there's no indication one way or the other, my headcanon is going to be that he didn't.
Okay.
But the Doctor's there.
Yeah, and
he's surprise.
like, I'm the caretaker. Sometimes they call me the Doctor, but just call me the caretaker. I guess he's trying to keep that low profile now.
Only works for like a few minutes. He shows him around the house. He's decorated it and souped it up a little bit. He's made some modifications. Lemonade tap, just the typical stuff.
I want a lemonade tap in my house. But
not
really,
how much would you use it?
A lot, actually. But the thing about lemonade is you got to get that right. You got to get the right balance between tartness and sweetness. And if you get lemonade that's too sweet, it's just like, oh, well, this is too sweet. I don't want to drink this. And if it's too tart, you just pucker your mouth every time you drink it. And you're like, I don't want to drink this either because it's going to, like, upset my stomach. You got to get that right balance. And, I'm just kind of questioning if the Doctor can do that on the fly in a tap.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't see the entire setup. Maybe down the line he has, I don't know, what would you call them? Not faucets, but levers for like sugar / water, versus lemon juice and stuff like that. I don't know. He probably has a whole setup.
Well, I'm just saying it's really hard to get the right balance.
Yeah, I know it is, and if you go overboard on the sweetness, it's going to make you more thirsty.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You want that lemonade that like has that lemon flavor but still quenches your thirst.
Yeah.
Science of Lemonade, the podcast, coming 2019 from Decorative Vegetable. Do not hold us to that. That's a complete and utter joke. This is what we should name the Space 1999 podcast, The Science of Lemonade.
Don't forget, we have to change the name of Zenith in the last episode.
That's not happening.
It is if I have anything to say about it.
Which you don't.
I don't say the name, but I can interject. And we'll see. We'll see if I do. If I don't forget.
If you interject and if it remains in the final episode, because again, you really don't have a say in this, since the podcast has to go through my discerning editing.
I can just say
board.
it so much over the course of the episode that it would be a bother to edit it out.
I mean, it's already a bother to edit every out of every episode, but I do it anyway for the fans.
I guess we'll see if doubling your work is.
I mean, considering it's the final episode of Zenith. You know what? We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of Zenith, if you listen to Blake 7 and want to send us a fantasy Blake 7, email us soon.
Like in the next couple days.
Like in the next couple days. Like when this goes out, you'll have want to email us precisely. You have maybe 6 days from when this goes out. Anyway.
So, gosh, what even happens?
They run around the house, and the doctor shows off all these inventions, and Madge is like, why are you doing this? And the doctor's like, and the doctor says something that's it's one of those things that sounds profound, but then you start to think about it, and then it's not so profound anymore.
Well, I mean,
but then you think about it more, and you're like,
it's
it's pretty profound.
Moment where the doctor sort of calls Madge out. I mean, not in a, God, I can't think today.
Hostile way.
Not in a hostile way, but he sort of just, he notes how Madge is annoyed at her kids and kind of snaps at them, and he's like, you should let them be happy because they're going to be sad later.
Yeah.
And they have this entire moment in conversation about that.
Yeah.
Which is why the doctor is trying to bribe them and win their trust with toys. God, making him sound like such a white van,
such a manipulative kind of guy.
Yeah. But their whole room is tricked out with all these toys and the two hammocks and stuff, which are admittedly pretty cool. Hammocks are pretty cool.
Have you ever been in a hammock?
Yeah.
I don't really know how you could fall asleep in that and wake up without mad back pain.
Yeah, I don't either. You get a mattress hammock, I don't know, reinforced hammock or something.
Reinforced hammock. That's what our website should. The website should have been reinforcedhammock.com. So there's a present under the tree, and the doctor's like, "Don't open it till Christmas."
There's some ominous sounds emanating from this present.
Yeah,
this is some real Halloween stuff. But as usual, the kids want to open their presents early.
Yeah.
And the girl is trying to sleep. And what was the girl's name again? I forget.
It was Lisa or Lucy?
Something like that.
I think. Damn it. Of course, I freaking closed the page with the credits on it. Lily,
right. Lily is trying to sleep, and Cyril is like, Hey, Lily, you awake? You awake? Lily. She's like, what? He's like, we got to go open that present. So they do.
Well, Lily doesn't go. Lily goes.
She goes later.
To talk with the doctor. Yeah. And the doctor's like,
yeah.
Where's Cyril? She's like, in his bed. He's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. And he's like, I don't believe you. And they go down and they see him disappear into the present. They're like, Cyril.
Well, they uncover. They find out that he pulled the oldest trick in the book, which is to put pillows and stuffed animals
That's
under.
Not the oldest trick in the book. The oldest trick in the book is, hey, look over there, and then you run away.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest tricks in the book.
You got to go by what Doctor Who said. Doctor Who said the oldest trick in the book was, hey, look over there. I don't know if I remember what story that was from now.
The Sea Devils? It was the one where the Doctor and the Master have that sword fight.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think was the Sea Devils.
Yeah, I think it was the Sea Devils. I remember by the Doctor's deep sea colored coat that he never wore again, or before to that episode.
There's also the one where the Master watched Clangers.
Boy. Classic Clangers.
Intruding on other franchises.
Anyway,
Cyril is in a winter landscape. He opens the present, and it turns out to be the wardrobe to Narnia.
Yeah. Also, the Doctor calls his TARDIS a wardrobe. So.
Yeah.
Because Madge is the widow, although not really, given the ending.
Yeah.
The Doctor's the Doctor, although not really, because he calls himself the caretaker the whole episode. And apparently time runs differently in this Winter Wonderland, although that's immediately thrown out the window and actually, like, pretty much explicitly non-existent as soon as Madge enters the Winter Wonderland, because they spend about a night in the Winter Wonderland, and they come back, and it's the next day.
The Winter Wonderland.
Well, we don't know what planet it is.
Yeah, we don't know what planet it is.
So it's the Winter Wonderland.
It's one of the safest planets in the universe, supposedly.
Said that about Appalachia too, but look what happened there.
Until humans decide to ruin it all.
Well, yeah.
We don't know if they're humans,
but they probably but they're from Androzani Major.
They probably are humans.
Doing a hard throwback to Caves of Androzani in this episode.
Well, Caves of Androzani, in a way, was also an ecological story. Although, maybe in some ways not as juvenile a one as this. We'll get into my sort of problems with this story, right? I mean, this is written by Stephen Moffat. This is like a story that happens with, someone who doesn't know about, like, trends and just someone who doesn't know very much about, like, ecological literature and theory, writing, like, an ecological story, and, like, this is what you get.
Welcome to the Moffat era.
But anyway, Cyril finds a tree that grows Christmas ornaments. Don't you wish that was real, so you wouldn't have to put up those damn ornaments every year?
You don't have to put ornaments up. I mean, I have a tree in my bedroom that's got 3 ornaments on, and I was like, well, that's good enough for me. So
nice. Is it a real tree?
No, it's a fake.
Okay, good. Yeah,
good.
That's the way you do it. You don't have to clean up needles. Don't have to.
But you don't get the scent of the tree. You don't get the Christmas scent.
Good.
Yeah. Well, you just hate Christmas, so.
Yeah, I do. I do hate Christmas.
As you can tell by the tone of voice when you put this can of. I don't actually know what it is. English toffee down. You're like, Merry Christmas. In the most Ebenezer Scrooge way possible.
I like the Grinch. I hate the moment where his heart grows 3 sizes and he gives the presents back. But I like the rest of the movie.
That's the whole point of the story.
I like the rest of it.
Is that why it's your favorite Christmas song?
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, it's an animated Christmas movie that is like actually has
Have
cool
you seen
animation.
the new
I've seen what the new one looks like, and it's not pretty.
Apparently got good reviews and is earning just as much as the live action Jim Carrey one.
Jim Carrey one from like 15 years ago. Yeah, I have seen that one, and it's, if you haven't seen it, it's as scarring as you would imagine. Just imagine Jim Carrey in like Grinch prosthetic.
Benedict Cumberbatch is the Grinch in the new animated one.
Yeah.
The new animated one made by the animation house that did the Lorax, which actually lost the rights to do other Dr. Seuss stuff after the Grinch, as far as I know.
Dr. Who?
Dr. Seuss was kind of an a-hole, but anyway. I don't want to ruin everyone's childhood on this podcast. I'm sure I've said this before, but his wife had cancer, and while she had cancer, he cheated on her.
Freaking Theo. A lot of Dr. Seuss's later stories were also ecological, like the heavy-handed Lorax, but also other ones.
Also, the star-bellied...
The Sneetches.
The Sneetches. That one's...
Which is about racism.
Racism and Nazism.
Yeah.
Also, if you didn't know, before he wrote kids' books, Dr. Seuss did political cartoons.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. This is a big tangent. Mainly because when you really get down to the nitty-gritty, not a lot happens in this story.
No, I think there was enough going on.
There was enough, but like not a lot. I mean, a lot of this episode is the Doctor following Cyril.
Yeah, considering it's a Stephen Moffat episode, yeah, sure, not a lot happens compared to his other episodes. Yeah. So the Doctor and God, what Lily. They go into they go through the portal as well.
Yeah, this is when they introduce the time runs differently in the Winter Wonderland that they throw away like pretty soon. So.
Yeah, I mean it's not that important. I didn't even remember that was the case. So.
It's not that important, and they really didn't need to introduce it. The only reason they do is because they see Cyril go into the box and then they come out and he's gone. They could have just like not seen Cyril go into the box and it.
Or just been like he ran away and we didn't catch him in time.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But it's Stephen Moffat, so of course he has to introduce some time nonsense into the story. Is there even one Stephen Moffat story that doesn't have any time shenanigans to even a minimal extent?
Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead.
Well, that's River.
And the computer simulation.
Because I can't think of one. Even his short story, the Sally Sparrow one, is full of it.
Beast Below?
Did he write the Beast Below?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Pretty sure about that one.
All right. I guess. But there was that thing with like the time trap, right? Where the trap was installed in the past and they knew what was going to happen in the future. It's kind of reaching, but still.
Which one was that? Beast Below?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, I was thinking of Satan Pit.
No.
You said Beast Below.
Beast Below, the one with the space whale.
Now I remember. No, because that had the Liz 10 loop thing.
Ah, damn it.
Anyway, if you can think of a Stephen Moffat story that doesn't have any time shenanigans,
I can think of ones that we haven't watched yet.
Oh, okay.
So
there's probably so much backlash that he backed off.
Probably.
But anyway, they're exploring this forest, and the doctor realizes that something is very wrong here.
Yeah. I don't know how he realizes things are wrong. Because he's like, the forest has never been this active.
Yeah, he uses the sonic to scan the trees.
Yeah.
He's the doctor. He speaks for the trees. I don't remember the rest of the rhyme.
Something about Thneeds. And the Lorax was actually my favorite Dr. Seuss story as a kid. Fun fact. Huh. Yeah, I really like the
Lorax. Ever read the Bartholomew stories?
No.
You gotta read those. Those are some of his best.
It's all about the Lorax. I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees. And something, Dr. Seuss has a very specific, what's the word?
Rhyme scheme?
Yeah, rhythm, rhyme scheme, trochees, and trochees the only one I remember. Like emphasis.
I-ams.
Yeah, I-ams and
there's
trochees.
A bunch of other ones that I probably would have known if you asked me like a year ago, but...
I would have known if you had asked me 5 years ago. Yeah, anyway.
They come across a massive tower, and meanwhile we see Madge going into the portal as well.
Yeah, and she meets up with these people who
are in really cool-looking suits.
Yeah, who are, 1, in cool-looking suits, 2, have no reason to be there, 3, are apparently played by really famous comedic
trio
people in Britain, and most of, a lot of criticism was put down on the story because they're you totally underused these, really well-known people in the story. Well,
it's fine. It was fine for me.
Yeah, I didn't care that much, but...
they probably hyped it up beforehand, and then, they were only in it to this extent, so people were mad.
The reason why
coming into it with no expectation and not even knowing who these people are, didn't bother me.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. What bothered me was that there was no reason for them to be there, and...
They just needed to set up the acid rain thing.
Yeah, but, in story, what's the
just to set up the acid rain thing and provide some comic relief.
Why did they go to the planet? What... as a character, why are they there?
To set up the acid rain thing, and they probably also detected Madge, and they're like, what the heck
but the acid rain is the satellites. They don't need to be on the planet, and they just teleport off as soon as the acid rain's about to start. They don't actually indicate that they're doing anything on the planet.
Well, I got the impression, I don't know if they ever state this or not, but I got the impression that they had to do something on that, the machine, the big robot thing.
Yeah, which they don't do.
Well, we don't see, we cut to a scene with them in that thing. We don't really see what they did. That's what I sort of got, but I don't think they ever stated. I think they also detected that there were people down there.
I guess.
They're what's going on? We can't have people on the planet when we acid rain it. When we acid rain on their parade.
Where we chocolate rain on their parade.
Oh, God.
Chocolate rain. I don't know the rest of the words.
Tay actually followed me on Twitter at one point.
Did he really?
I think he might still be following me. I'm not sure.
Hey, if you're listening to us, Tay Zonde, and you want to be on an episode, just shoot Keon a message on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I would actually really like that.
Yeah, as would I.
Just shoot Keon a message.
Chocolate Rain is also a testament to the endurance of double O's memes. Because I feel memes in the 20 teens are so fleeting and ephemeral. No, I mean they are. Like you think back to like.
Yeah, we're already on Big Chungus now.
I don't even know see, I don't even like. I don't know. Memes these days are they come and go so quickly. But ones like Chocolate Rain, Long
Endures.
Cat. They really do, and I don't know why that's the case. But
it's because the speed of information has sped up, even within the internet age. I mean, memes go by so fast now, I can't even keep up with the hot new meme, and there'll be a new meme, and I'll have missed the previous meme completely. I wouldn't even know about Big Chungus if someone hadn't sent me a message like, hey, what's Big Chungus?
I don't even...
And then I had to look it up.
I want to know what Big Chungus is.
I had to look it up, and it had been just added to Know Your Meme like 6 hours before, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, ones like Chocolate Rain, Long Cat, and just any number of ones from like 10 or 15 years ago.
Nyan Cat. I don't know how to pronounce it.
That's from this decade, but still, that one as well. I don't know.
What about Hide Your Kids, Hide Your Wife?
Yeah, I mean, anything from, I don't know, like 10 to 15 years ago is just golden. It's just there forever.
We should start a meme podcast. We should actually not do that. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, it is. It's a very bad idea, especially because meme medics and meme theory is actually a field of study that people do like that academically.
We don't know anything about.
Yeah.
It's like that guy who was on TV and it was like meme expert was his profession. Then there was a meme about that where they're like, where can I get this profession?
Meme is in like the traditional sense of memes from when Richard Dawkins proposed it in like the 80s, or was he like a meme scholar, like he studied internet memes?
Your guess is as good as mine. We're way off topic. Madge pulls a gun on these people. She fake cries.
Yeah, this is like really Madge. I get she's looking for her kids and stuff, but they pull their guns on her.
Yeah, this is one of those like Stephen Moffat supposedly comedic moments that didn't land for me.
I thought the three
of them
were great.
Were good, and then there was this moment where she's like, "There's nothing." Well, the guy, is like, "There's nothing you could say that would convince me you'd actually use that gun." And she says, "I'm looking for my kids." And then it zooms in on the guy's face, and his eyes go wide. And I was just like, that didn't really land for me. Describing it makes it sound funnier than it actually is.
Flashbacks to that scene from Blake 7 where it like zooms in heavily on Jenna's eyes out of nowhere.
Now having flashbacks to Avon crunching the money and smiling that pained smile at the end of Gold.
Classic.
It is classic, actually. That's, I think, one of the most well-known shots from that show.
Yeah. Anyway, they go on to this... I don't know what the machine is for, just scouting the planet, I guess. But again, I got the impression that they needed to set something up on the machine to activate the acid rain.
Yeah. The acid rain's coming from satellites, though. Yeah. Apparently it's artificial because they're burning all the trees because that's the greatest fuel source ever. Flashbacks to Inferno. Yeah,
so this is a very juvenile, and I'll talk about this later at the end, but this is a very like juvenile ecological concept, right? They're at this forest, and juvenile in the sense that it's like it doesn't pay attention to the massive amounts of writing that have been done in the past, I don't know, 60, 70 years on this stuff. But they're basically going to destroy this forest for its resources.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Doctor and Lily stumble across a tower made out of wood.
It's trees grown disguised as a tower. Although you find out later that there's a spaceship on top of it. And I don't really know how trees grew into a spaceship with... You know what? I'm not going to think about it. You know what?
Well, they go in and there's sort of this king-like statue. It's not a statue, but it's made out of wood, and it's sitting on a throne.
Statues could be made of wood, can't they?
Yeah, but this isn't a statue.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, because the Doctor immediately says it's not a statue, and I was like, but statues can be made of wood, right? So, like, I was just wondering how the Doctor knew it wasn't a statue.
He just knew it was still living, part of the tree, I guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, probably be a pretty bad idea to make like a wood statue that isn't like finished or anything, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to put some sort of protection from the elements or apply some sort of protection.
And even then, like, it's still a pretty bad idea. But there's a spiral staircase up to the top floor, which is where Cyril is. We saw Cyril sort of go up there.
Yeah, they put a crown on his head. And
it's more of a ringlet.
It's a crown.
It's a crown.
It's a crown.
It's more of a ringlet,
It's a crown.
If we really get down into it.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there, but it's a crown.
It is a crown, but it's not like, when you say crown, you think of like, I don't know, royalty. And
it's a very plain crown.
Yeah, it's a very plain crown.
They put it on his head, and then they're like, he's not strong enough. The doctor's like, well,
queen,
I am. Give it to me.
The queen, there's a wooden queen as well.
He's like, give it to me. They're like, you're not strong enough either. And he's like, what?
Well, they call him weak.
Yeah. And Madge is listening in.
You can tell the doctor like really takes offense to this. He's like, oh, I'm weak, but she's not. I'm like, really, 11th Doctor. This is how you're gonna...
I mean, there's a very juvenile writing of feminism in this too, like right in a second.
Yeah, no, there is this, and this is part of... There's three things I want to touch on at the end, and that's the... three things I want to touch on in terms of the ecological bent of this story, and that's the gendering of it, the whole concept of the forest, and the dad coming back. But yeah, it's all very. I mean, like I said before, I don't know how else to describe it other than like someone who hasn't read that many ecological stories or theory or science writing an ecological story. Or maybe someone who has and like just doesn't care and is like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to go completely against.
I mean, that's valid, I guess.
Yeah, but considering Stephen Moffat wrote it, I'm going to choose not to believe that. And I guess we're not going by any information and now just choosing what to believe. Guess that's what's happening now.
Oh, God.
Anyway, we should finish explaining what happens, which is that they put the crown on Lily. And the doctor...
Well, so Madge shows up first. Madge has been listening in with the sound system of the ship, and she walks over in this very triumphant moment, and then another Stephen Moffat humor moment that doesn't land. Reminds me a lot of like the humor in Mark Gatiss stories that are just like, they don't land. I actually learned that there's a term for this. So what happens now explicitly, it's like it's a very serious moment that gets immediately followed by a humorous event. It's called bathos, apparently. Because I watched a whole video essay that was like, Lost Jedi fell apart because it was filled with bad bathos. But that's what happens right here.
That's an interesting term.
Yeah, video essay is like a kind of new... It's a relatively new term, at least as far as I know.
Yeah, I've never heard it before.
Referring to like a long form, not necessarily 10 to 20 minute video that's like it's basically... It's like an essay where you have like a thesis and you make a point and you back it up with evidence, but with a visual component where you use visuals to reinforce your point as well. Essentially is what it is.
Yeah, I know the type of video you're talking about, and they're very popular and they're usually not very well done.
Yeah,
in terms of the video making is usually pretty well done, I think, but like what they're actually saying is usually garbage.
They're very hard to do well, I think, in my opinion, and I would know because I tried to do one once, just for the kicks. They're very hard to do well. This one was extremely convincing, the one that I watched. Anyway, the term is bathos, and this is another moment where it's like very serious because the mom's like, I'm coming for you, and Cyril's like, well, I'm not going anywhere till mom comes because she always comes. I'm like, really, what the fuck, Cyril? Clearly you're going to die if you stay here, but no, you're going to wait for your mom, who you don't even know is in the Winter Wonderland. Okay, Cyril.
You can probably censor.
Anyway, but it's this really serious moment because it's very triumphant music and the mom's coming and the thing, and then it's like...
We should explain that she's coming in the machine.
Yeah,
she's
the
not
machine,
just walking around.
And then she's walking, and they're like, wow, look, she's coming for us. And it's this very triumphant moment, and it gets there, and it falls over, and it's supposed to be very funny, but it just completely doesn't land at all. Although the ship does land on its side.
I didn't think it was funny, and I don't even necessarily agree with the angle of coming at it as like it's supposed to be funny, but it wasn't. Oh, I say that all the time, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see it as a humorous scene in any way.
Well, I mean, the way it's shot, the way the music cuts out as soon as it starts to fall over in like sort of a slapstick manner, and how the doctor kind of looks super shocked that it's fallen over. Like all these cuts and visual elements like seem to indicate that...
So it uses the conventions of a funny moment to create something that isn't funny.
It's supposed to laugh here, but it just wasn't funny to me. But whatever. Anyway, she
Well,
runs in.
yeah, we should also explain two other things. One is that the acid rain has already started, and the other is that the forest essentially is trying to do, because they see these sort of star-looking things come out of the trees
Right.
and convene in the tower. And what that is the souls of all the trees and presumably all the living things in the forest. You know, there's probably more. I'd assume there's more than just trees living on this planet, but
Right.
it's all their souls taken off, trying to escape before they're destroyed by the acid rain.
Yeah, and they're going to do it by using one of the people as like sort of an
vessel.
archetype thing, a vessel. And they're trying to put it on Lily, but then Madge shows up and they're like, Madge is way stronger.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they didn't want to put it on the Doctor or Cyril, is because the Doctor deduces it's because they're male, and females are more adept at carrying on life.
Yeah. Though he doesn't really say that. He kind of just says, they're strong, we're weak. Females are strong.
No, he says something like, gosh, what is
he says, what is life travel in the mothership? That's what he says.
Yeah, but he says something right before that. Is like, what's the best thing at like carrying on life or something like that?
Mother, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, the ship flies away, piloted by Madge, and then the Doctor turns on the screen and is showing her husband's plane going down over the English Channel.
Yeah, because I forget why he's showing her all these memories, because it's not just that, it's like a bunch of other memories as well. And it's
it's to pilot the ship home, basically.
Yeah.
She's got to focus on what keeps her going.
Yeah, and this is how it gets revealed to Cyril and Lily that their dad is dead.
Yeah, she's like, don't make me watch him die. And they're like, wait, what? Mom? You wanna tell us something? Mom? Anyway, then they land
on Earth.
They land on Earth,
and the trees have dispersed throughout the universe.
Yeah. And
which is I'll just touch on this before railing into all the ecological concepts in this, is like painting the entire universe as this ecological / economical, because those words both have the same sort of root and same field of, not study, but like this thing called economics, which is spelled O, like the letter O, and then the modern word economics is the root of both economics and ecology, so they're highly linked. But painting the entire universe as this space of that is nice, I guess.
I'm just waiting for you to rail in on this.
But they go back to Earth, and who else is there but Cyril Shaps? I'm just kidding.
What's with you and Cyril Shaps? Cyril bloody Shaps.
I'm just bitter that we finally finished Blake 7 and he was nowhere to be seen. Right? He doesn't have a single role in Blake 7.
Oh no. Madge is trying to tell her kids that the dad's dead, and the doctor's like, you should really come outside before we go any further. And she's like, I'm trying to talk to my kids. And he's like, just come outside. And there it is. There's the plane that the guy was flying. This, I found out, production note here, was an actual surviving World War II bomber that they borrowed for use in this production. And
nice.
It's at an air museum in Britain somewhere, and I don't remember what the plane's called. But if you look at the Wikipedia page, not the wiki page, the Wikipedia page, it's got a picture of the plane at the museum.
Nice.
And
their dad's back.
No word on the guy who was in a bad way in the back of the plane. Nobody seems to be concerned about him.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe,
He's
wishful thinking. Maybe someone else on Earth thought of him real hard and he came back.
What, so like...
And was also equipped with this interstellar space tree crown.
Like that episode where the Doctor comes back to life because everybody on Earth thinks about the Doctor at the same moment.
Sound of Drums.
And Lost of the Time
Lords.
Yeah.
/ whatever the other one
Utopia.
was called. Yeah. Yeah. Where's that moment for this guy, huh?
Anyway, then the Doctor goes back inside and Madge is
man.
Look, I want you to join us for Christmas.
We didn't put him on the death count, but I guess he is dead.
Who?
The guy.
In the back of the plane?
Yeah.
I mean, he might not be. He's just in a bad way. Maybe he survived that landing. Wishful thinking.
Oh, well, I guess like if the whole plane is transported, he would be in the back of the plane.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, nobody's
Like
saying
dying.
anything. Nobody's saying anything. The guy just in the back of the plane right now, just like potentially
like a bullet
dying.
in his stomach. I don't know how likely it would be to get like actually shot with a bullet like when you're in a plane, but maybe.
Anyway, Madge's like, I want you to stay for Christmas. He's like, nah, I'm going to be on my own. She's like, no one should be alone on Christmas.
Gotta get back to the war. Get hops back in the plane.
I gotta go shoot down some Nazis.
The kid at the beginning of this has this line where he's like, oh man, I love the bombing. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Tell that to Gas Mask, kid. You'll get, are you my mummied faster than you can say what?
Oh boy.
Anyway, it all turns out to work out in the end. It's a great Christmas for all of them. You got to wonder what happens to this dad. Is he just like missing in action? Yeah, he just like no. Is he like missing in action, but he's secretly just living back at home? Does the army like consider him dead? What's up?
The problem is that guy in the back of the plane. You see, either they let him die to keep the secret. Or they get him medical help, and then they got to find out that the whole plane survived and they're all alive.
No, I mean, he can be in on it with them, right? He doesn't have to go back.
They got to
and
get him
tell
medical
anyone.
help, or he's dying. At least that's the implication here, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, you can go to a doctor who doesn't disclose information or care who you are. So, yeah, there's options.
You think they can find a doctor that quick that would do that?
Yeah, why not?
Spin off about this guy in the back of the plane when Big Finish get on it.
Their uncle is ostensibly into some sketchy nonsense.
You just made that up.
Yeah, I did. And I'm making all this stuff up too. So, you know what? I'm just going to go with it.
The doctor goes to Amy and Rory's house. We find out they painted their front door.
I completely forgot about this.
We find out they painted their front door the same shade as the TARDIS.
And that they set a place for the doctor every year. All 2 years it's been.
2 years.
Since he left them. Okay, the doctor is still, and I was kind of bothered by this, the doctor is still tormenting Amy about, through his absence.
Yeah, because he's like, how long has it been? And she's like, 2 years.
And she seems pretty distraught over it as well.
Yeah, she's like, River told us, like, the day of that you were still alive. The doctor's like, of course she would.
So?
Rory doesn't seem fazed. She's like, oh, it's the doctor. Come on in, buddy.
Rory didn't go through the therapy and trauma that Amy went through.
No, yeah, I would argue he went through way worse. It's 2,000 years waiting for Amy.
Well, he didn't go through, like, if you think of trauma as, like, something that is triggered by the same event seemingly recurring, he didn't go through what Amy is now going through with the doctor coming back, right?
I guess, but Rory had to go through, like, multiple world wars, the sacking of Rome.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he didn't suffer. He definitely did. But, like, this moment isn't necessarily going to activate that, like, trauma of, like, oh, no, it's happening again.
There could be a really good PTSD-focused story in here somewhere about Rory or Amy. But if I remember correctly, it never comes. So, thanks, Stephen. And yeah, he cries a happy tear. He calls it humany-woomany. And I was like, wow, Stephen.
It's Christmas. Gotta get in that lighthearted...
And it ends.
Yeah.
Doctor Who will return in Asylum of the Daleks.
There were actually, interestingly, there were a lot of shots in this that like foreshadow the Daleks. There's like the beginning with Madge riding the bike, and it looks like the bike has an eye stalk, and the thing with the telescope as well. So I thought the Daleks were going to somehow show up.
Nope.
But they don't, thankfully.
Surprise.
Thankfully. Because I actually think this is one of the best Christmas specials. I really do like this story, despite what I'm about to say about it.
I think it's just inoffensive.
All right.
Just there.
That's how I describe the wedding of River Song.
I think the story's just there. Not great, not bad, just there. It's hampered by its place between series 6 and 7, where the Doctor's supposed to keep a low profile and also has no companions. I actually think that serves as a detriment to the story.
Yeah, because we skipped the scene where the Doctor's like, I'm trying to keep a low profile. I don't want the people who I want to be spending time with right now to know that I'm alive, so I don't want to come in contact with them. And Madge is like, no, it's Christmas. You gotta do what you gotta do, Doctor. You gotta be with your family and friends and stuff like that. And he's like, You know what? You're right. So I'm gonna totally ditch this thing of laying low.
Well, he goes back to it next week, and I don't want to spoil what he does next week. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming this is the end of Amy and Rory as well. That's what I'm just gonna assume.
You assumed that multiple times now. But
well, maybe they'll come back at the big Stephen Moffat finale that I'm expecting at the end of series
7, 8,
no,
9, 10. 7, 8. Which one? The end of the 11th Doctor,
no,
or the end of Moffat?
Stephen Moffat.
Oh,
so season 12,
10,
10, 10,
10. 12th Doctor, series 10.
Huh?
Series 11 was the one that just aired. So.
Yeah, the thing is, what's weird is that a lot of people I saw discussing Series 11 were calling it season, what would it be, 35?
35, I think, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were calling it season 35, which is interesting, because I've never really seen that before.
I know the TARDIS wiki labels every season as series blah / season blank.
Yeah.
Series 1 / season 25, etc. But
yeah. Anyway, this is a nice ecological story, but I like any ecological story. Actually, that's not true. I like most ecological stories, but like I said, it's a fairly juvenile take on one. This entire concept of like all this taking place in like a green space when of the forest, right, which is a traditional space for like an ecological thing to happen, is fairly like, I don't know, just. It's old. I mean, now a lot of the ecological humanities now are focused on expanding this concept to other spaces because it's like, hey guys, like this stuff doesn't just happen in forests. Like ecology is about the whole planet, not just forests.
No, only forests.
But the forest is a very heavy indicator of like that something about the environment is going down, which it is in this story. They're planning on harvesting these things for their resources and not caring about the massive amounts of damage that's going to do to everything. I mean, like we said before we started recording, if they had just opened the present on Christmas, they would walk out into like this wasteland.
This post-apocalyptic wasteland where it's all been just destroyed. Which might have been a more interesting story, if I'm being honest.
Another thing is the gendering of all of this. There's been a trend for like basically all of human history to paint like the natural world as like a female, like Mother Earth,
and
Father
Father Time,
right, and Earth goddesses and stuff like that, which is its own thing and something people are moving away from now as well in stories. And the other thing is the dad coming back, because what this story was really hyping up was like, hey, guess what? People and living things living things die and are still important after they die. Right? Because, like, I mean, the conservation of energy, right? And that's a huge concept in ecology is like when you die, you go back into the earth and your body fuels the life of dozens of other organisms, whether it's animals, plants, bacteria, whatever. So I really liked where this story was going of like the dad is still important. The dad is the dead father, like leads them home, saves them after he's dead.
Yeah.
But then they bring him back because it's a Christmas story.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
I mean, I think it's important to have these stories where it shows, you're still important or things are still important if they don't have a living presence. And actually, I think Series 11 does this really well, kind of overarching how it shows that even if someone is dead or if they're not in your life anymore, they still affect you and they still have like a massive role in your life.
Yeah.
And not just like your life, just like life in general.
Wait, have you watched all of Series 11?
Yes. At this point, yes.
Huh.
It will be the last series I watch live without the podcast since it's been told that Series 12 won't be coming till 2020.
Yeah.
Which will be caught up by that point, so... But I because I didn't remember the story well at all. I thought for a while that the dad was going to stay dead, and then when the doctor turned on the screen to show the dad, I was like, oh, that's right. He freaking lives. I remember now.
It does kind of leave like a bad taste in your mouth, but in my mouth at least.
I mean, it's a Christmas story, and
yeah, I get it. I get it.
That shouldn't excuse it, but still, it's a Christmas story.
Yeah. Since Doctor Who isn't doing a Christmas story this year, and is instead doing a New Year's story, hopefully it can be less. Hopefully it can play into the entire like Christmas spirit less.
Yeah.
By Christmas spirit, I mean what I was talking about before: materialism and greed.
It doesn't show up in this story at all, and actually, I don't think that shows up in any of Moffat's Christmas specials.
I mean, I think the dad
except
coming
last
back.
year.
I think the dad coming.
The Christmas Carol. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the dad coming back is in some ways indicative of like this Christmas spirit of greed.
Well, it's the Christmas miracle kind of thing, right? That's the trope, the Christmas miracle. Like every Christmas movie has like some sort of Christmas miracle where things work out perfectly and they lived happily ever after. Right?
Yeah, like Elf.
I never finished Elf. I started watching Elf once and I got halfway through and was like, man, I hate this movie. Everyone's like, Elf is such a good movie, and I'm like, I didn't really like it.
I barely remember it.
Well, anyway, I think we've wrapped up everything we want to say on this. In the Christmas spirit, we went on tangents about people not being in the Christmas spirit and not showing universal love and kindness to all.
Well, the thing about Christmas is that it's kind of like it's like Disneyland, right? It's like it's enforced happiness.
You can be sad on Christmas.
Christmas is like. It's like thought control in a way. And it also drives the like impetus in business to like further know what people are thinking at all times.
I mean, I think pretty much every holiday is like that now in the United States. Anyway.
Yeah, I think
it's
the
all
United States,
over-commercialized.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July. They're all like overly commercialized holidays.
Yeah, but there are other holidays worldwide that are so unlike that it's almost uncanny.
Yeah. One of the many problems I have with capitalism as a system in America. Anyway, you can find us at you can reach us, at thedoctordecorativevegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters, your happy Christmas stories. You can find us on YouTube at Decorative Vegetable. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Google Play at Trust Your Doctor. Be sure to leave a rating if you like the show. And we forgot to mention, but next week we're planning to be joined by RG, who joined us with the Doctor's Wife, and will be joining us again next week. So look forward to that.
Right. Check us out on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook. Also check us out on Twitter at TYD Podcast and follow us on Twitter. And next time we're watching Asylum of the Daleks with RG. But until then, the end.